What's up, everybody? Emergency podcast. I got my buddies here from the VT Research Group, Jordan, Brooks, and David in the house because we got some crazy stuff going on today. We got this madness with what the DOJ is saying about the Epstein files, that they just never existed, that there was just never a list, nothing. We got a exclusive video here, a 10-minute video from Axios showing exactly what went down. I mean, it's convenient that they released this video right after AI got really advanced and can make these crazy lifelike videos, but we'll get to that. Then we'll talk about Elon's third party, what he wants to do with that, and we're going to talk about why America is sending weapons to Ukraine again when Trump's supposedly trying to end the war, and why did Israel start bombing the hell out of Yemen last night. So without further ado, what's up, guys? How we doing?
Great.
Golden.
Great.
Doing good.
Yeah. Ready to
cruising.
Rock and roll? All right, let's check out this video first. So Brooks, you just told me about this, so I'm going to hit go. And what should I fast forward to?
Brandon, you forgot the
disclaimer. Started at like 4 to...
I forgot the what?
The disclaimer. We go right into the deep end right off the start.
We do go right into the deep end off the start, so buckle up if you're faint of heart. All right.
It started at like 4 to 5 minutes from me when I opened up the original video. So let's take a close look at this trash can. Like, what's going on with this trash can, man?
What does it move around?
They're like this guy like goes in there one time, and then he goes back in there, and then he changes into a hoodie, and then it's just weird. There's a security guard.
All right, where is this guy? Oh, here we go. We got some action. All right. Where are you? This is a weird looking jail, by the way. I mean, what's going on over here? There's like a railing, and what's all this? Is like an office or something?
It's like messy. Like, what's going on over here?
Yeah. Come on, where is this guy?
Maybe go faster speed. See what's going on with all this movement. Like all these things
we got some action back there. When did that door open? I thought the door opened like around the 4-minute area.
Yeah.
Where is this guy?
Like, how is this trash can moving? It's like ridiculous.
Is it moving?
Like, no, like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you got to go in between there. Like, how did that?
Here we go.
Right
here
there.
we go.
Yeah.
All right. And this is at 12:01 a.m. And this is Epstein's cell phone.
Supposedly, like, look how quick he gets in there the first time, or like the way he gets in there.
Well, it's on 2x speed, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right.
But the last time he goes in there, it's a little different. No concern, right? There's nothing like he's dead or anything.
Right. And do you know off the top of your head what time he's pronounced dead?
I don't. I can look it up.
Yeah, let's see about that. All right. So what happens next? Like, what should I fast forward to now?
I would just keep it going. Like, just keep it as like, you gotta watch it like a hawk. Pronounced dead 6:39 a.m. August 10th, 2019.
6 a.m.
6:39 a.m. Shortly after 6:30.
Wow. So 6 hours after this. Okay, interesting. All right. Did any of you other guys watch this? Jordan or Dave, did you watch this yet?
Oh, this is my first time seeing this. So
yeah, this is the first time seeing of it as well.
Same. I mean, I guess while we're waiting, we could talk like what the hell happened. I mean, Jordan, tell me like it's like initial reaction with what the hell they're saying.
Well, we've been going through quite a few things, so we know a little bit more of the dark end of how this all might be playing out because of Whitney Webb's 2 books, One Nation Under Blackmail, both volumes there, along with us understanding Trump and his connection to Roy Cohn and the way Roy Cohn used to honeypot things. And this might be a way, way bigger play. And especially with this coming out now, a week after Diddy gets acquitted on all the serious RICO stuff and how similar the Diddy stuff is compared to the way Epstein did things, there's got to be something bigger going on. There's no way there isn't something bigger going on that involves international governments with large international NGOs and states, heads of state and things like that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's something huge. Because I mean, remember that I always think back to that opening line that I read from the book about the Franklin cover-up, where the state senator, I think his name is John DeCamp, who wrote that book. He's talking to William Colby, who was the CIA director for a while, and he's trying to kind of put this book together about this case. And the fucking former CIA director says to him, like, hey, dude, you're going up against these scary, powerful forces, and you will die if you can. What happened? So this dude just changed in that room. What the hell is this? This is a prison cell. He goes in there with a guard's uniform, comes out in sweats.
Oh, move the trash can.
Huh. That's
And
bizarre.
where's his cell? There's no like indicator or saying like this is his cell, 46.
Was this supposed to be a cell, or like it looked like a changing room the way he just treated it?
Like, why give us this footage? I don't get it.
How much? I think 4 minutes went by for the time he was in there.
Yeah, and then someone else changes in there later on.
Let me go back to this article and see. Like,
I guess while we're waiting too, I just think it's like so weird. Like you drop this footage, there's no like details like why we're talking about this. There's just raw footage, enhanced footage. How many people are going to actually watch this?
yeah, and
Just,
what the hell
weird.
take away from this? It says in the thing, it says the administration is releasing a video in both raw and enhanced versions that says it indicates no one entered the area of Manhattan prison where Epstein was held the night he died. So are they saying he was in this other door? I guess this must be what they're saying. If they're saying that this video indicates no one entered the area of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held.
But do they give a tour? Do they give pictures?
No. No, nothing. And all right, so
well, here's the other thing. How do we know that they didn't just take a play over from a previous night where somebody's just doing their rounds and then put a different timestamp on it? Because you can manipulate video. Like, how do we know they didn't just do that?
Like, dude, there's videos of Trump being jacked, making out with a pregnant Kamala Harris, and it looks perfectly believable. Like, if you showed that to somebody 10 years ago, they would be 100% convinced it's real. So you're telling me you can't make a crusty, grainy-looking prison video that's fake?
I mean, we literally did that in a film before with the same setting and everything like that, where it's like we made it up with a GoPro.
That's high school video editing.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and then at the end, there's another guy that comes in and he changes into something too, I think. I'm not too sure how long he got.
So this is maybe a changing room that's next to the freaking guard room, or next to the his prison cell? Yeah.
Okay, just shoot the guy in the head on the side or whatever, or create another door. I don't know.
I'm gonna keep zooming through this thing. So while we're watching this, like I said, the former CIA director tells this guy who's writing a book about the Franklin thing was Epstein before Epstein. Like, it seems like they literally anointed Epstein right after that thing fell apart. So I have no doubt about that. And they, the guy that was the director of the CIA is telling this senator, hey, like, back off, you're gonna get yourself killed. Then the FBI director that warned him, or the CIA director that warned him, gets killed in his kayak, like, shortly after that. So if you could put that kind of fear into the CIA director, what are we talking about here? Like, is it as simple as people like Bill Gates and Leon Black and Prince Andrew, like those type of names, or is it stuff that we haven't even fathomed yet?
Well, one of the scenarios that it could be is they're putting people in these high up positions that they know they can manipulate because they have blackmail on. They probably are not going to let people that are at a mid to high level that are working their way up get to the highest levels if they have too much integrity and accountability on their side.
Right. So then I would ask, though, like, let's say that's the reason Trump's letting it stay intact, is because he sees the value in having blackmail and powerful people. And why does he ever have any freaking hurdles with anything that he wants to do ever if he supposedly has that much control?
Can't show your cards.
Wasn't Pam Bondi the attorney general in Florida when he was doing all his mischievous deeds and things he was doing?
Yes, she
I don't know
was.
the timeline.
Let me see what the timeline was. She was the attorney general in Florida. Let me see what years as Florida AG. So I saw that lady walk by in the video too. Is that did she do anything crazy?
No, I didn't see that one. Look at the trash can to get like the trash can is kind of the indicator where for some reason why I don't know, but then someone like messes with it and like put something in it.
That is weird.
Unless they.
Oh, here we go.
This guy
calls the phone. Pam Bondi was
and the other guy. The other guy got in so fast. Look at this guy. Why is he taking his time?
Was he the janitor? What the hell was he looking for?
No way.
What?
Yeah, and why leave it like that?
Yeah.
Is it just to like be like, oh, nothing's happening here, we're just changing? And he's in the hoodie.
That has like to be a lot.
This is the most gangster security guard force I've ever seen. Like one guy leaves in the Bulls, you know, like, and then this guy leaves in a black hoodie.
Yeah, I have way more questions than answers after watching this video. Bondi was the AG for Florida from 2011 through 2019, by the way. So that was during one of the times that Epstein got pinched. It wasn't during the one where I think it was was it 2003 or something where he got pinched, and then the whoever the hell was it, I think Acosta said that he belonged to intelligence, so leave it alone. I think that might have been before her time.
Where was she? Was she working her way up into that system too? Like, she just doesn't become attorney general without becoming something else before that.
So let's see. I just asked that. Before serving as Florida's AG, Pam Bondi was a prosecutor in the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office in Tampa, Florida, where she worked for nearly 20 years, primarily handling criminal cases. So not like the West Palm area, but yeah, still a prosecutor in Florida. I mean, yeah, she's definitely worth looking into more. But here's the thing: like she's not gonna be doing this shit unless it's endorsed and stamp of approval by Trump. So. Shit like this is what makes people sketched out when like Elon threw out the thing in his whole hissy fit. But like I'm not totally like doubting what he said at this point. Like I gave Trump the benefit of the doubt, like saying, oh, it's probably that he was the blackmailer, he ran with those circles or something. But I mean, how bad could it be? Like, do you think it's more about protecting himself or protecting friends or protecting assets that they could exploit?
I mean, they definitely took the trash out on this one. No pun intended, or maybe. But I just don't get why release this video and be like, yep, this is proof, and then it's only 10 minutes worth or however long.
Yeah, this proves nothing. They didn't make anything clear. They didn't say what his cell was. Nothing.
Well, this is also strange.
And this guy leaves his. Oh, sorry, Dave.
No, go ahead, Brooks.
This guy leaves the trash can like that. Like, what kind of
You're right. Look at how So it starts off over here, and then look how far. Yeah, you see that? See how far the trash can moves?
Well, they moved it. One guy moved it. That guy that moved with the Bulls or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, why so many interactions with that trash can? I don't get it.
I mean, getting rid of evidence.
I don't even see the trash can to be up there. That's such an area. The trash can shouldn't be up there. It should be down inside the commons area where you see everybody would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Allegedly, we're saying that this is Epstein's cell,
So
correct?
I would think this one is, and then this one looked like a changing room.
Wasn't he supposed to be in solitary confinement? I don't know that.
Aside from being with that jacked dude,
Yeah.
remember
But
that?
why were they calling that phone to get into that changing room? If it's just the changing room, they'd go on that phone, do something. Why would it take so long to get into that room if they are outside?
You know, let's ask Grok. Let's say, what does the Epstein video that was just released show inside the prison? I mean, I'm just wondering, like, what percent of this do we know predictively? Like, is our gut right about this, or are we like way off with what this actual situation is? All right, so here we go. The recently released Jeffrey Epstein prison footage made public by U.S. Department of Justice on July 7, 2025 consists of approximately 11 hours of CCTV surveillance footage. Oh, so that was 11 hours, not minutes, huh? Is that what that was? Was that like really sped up, or was that 10 minutes?
No, that was the whole 11 hours, and you had it sped up a bit.
Yeah, okay. 11 hours of surveillance footage from Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City covering August 9th and 10th, the final hours before Epstein's death. The footage does not show the interior of Epstein's cell, but captures the common area and hallway outside his cell in the special unit housing. Key details from the footage include Epstein's last sighting around 7:49 p.m. Did it show that? It didn't show that.
There might be more videos.
Oh, wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. Yeah, if you find that, send me a link through text and I'll pull that up. I'll keep reading this. Around 7:49 p.m., August 9th, Epstein, wearing an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, is seen being escorted by a guard through a common area and down a small flight of stairs to his cell. Guard activity. A guard is seen walking toward the area near Epstein's cell. At approximately 10:39 p.m., that's what we saw, I think, and at 10:41 p.m. After this, no one is captured approaching or leaving the area near his cell until around 6. Wait, but we saw somebody near his cell at 12 p.m. or 11 p.m.
Did we see Epstein at all go into that cell?
No.
What time was it?
Here,
7:49 allegedly.
I'm gonna pull that up again. Should I do the
49?
enhanced version? Let's try the enhanced version.
Okay.
It's so weird. I feel like this is a totally fake video.
At that time there was no trash can.
It's just
7:49.
this video is just screaming red herring.
Yeah. Like, I think they want us to be doing exactly what we're doing right now. But I mean, it's fucking offensive.
Just totally reminds me of Ocean's 11, where they blank the screen to show that the elevator's empty. And
Yeah, literally. And go ahead, try to tell me that they can't do that. Like, does anybody in the world believe they're not capable of making some bullshit video, especially what they can do with AI right now? And why did it take? Remember, Dan was like, "Oh yeah, we're enhancing the video and piecing it together." Like, what do you mean piecing it together? It's a fucking tape, dude. So, all right, here's the video. So this thing says at 10:49 or 10:39, he's walking Epstein to his cell. So, all right, so this is 7:49 p.m. And why did I say 10:39? All right. What did I say, 10:39?
I thought it was 49.
7:49.
No, not 7. Was it?
7:49.
Yeah, 7:49.
right.
I think.
You're right. All right, 7:49. That's 8.
This one might be 30 minutes instead of 15 minutes.
All right, here we go. This has to be it. So here's 748. Let's see. I see somebody in an orange jumpsuit is bringing that trash can around. All right, 749. Come on.
I think it's stuck on my screen. Like,
The
not
video?
playing. Yeah,
What do you mean on your screen? Like on the...
on the StreamYard.
Oh, shit. Okay, good call. See, I'm glad we're not doing a lot. Wait, so why is it doing that? How about... Oh, shit, you're right. Now, let me try to... That's weird. It's never happened before. How about... Is it going now?
Yeah.
Yep.
It is?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, cool. All right.
So I think it's at the 1 or 2 minute mark is 7:40. Oh, okay.
What do we got?
The other thing that's strange is they're like 23-hour lockdown in the shoe wing.
What's that?
They're 23 hours locked down in the shoe wing, like solitary confinement, as far as I know.
23-hour lockdown? Oh, so he shouldn't be out of his cell, you're saying?
1 hour a day, but like there's another, it looks like another random guy was in the beginning of the video was downstairs. That
Right,
would be
like moving
strange
around
that
the
they
trash
have.
can. Like this
that they would-
person. Like, who's that?
Yeah.
You just have a prisoner roaming free without handcuffs?
Just moving
Okay,
the trash can.
yeah, maybe that's possible, but they would have more than one person at a time in the shoe wing.
And that other guy's looking at the trash can. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. All right, so this is supposed to be where they escort him up. So let's see if this happens at 749 or not. All right, I'll continue reading while we're waiting for this. So, yep. Oh, they're saying. Wait, what?
Someone's going down the stairs. Looks like gray hair.
Yeah, that's him.
See
There,
anybody?
that's him. All right, there he is.
Can't see the face.
Yeah, not a. And there's no proof that that's Epstein. What the hell? And where did he come from? He came from over here.
Oh yeah, that's Epstein. Got gray hair. You're good. Back of the head.
Like, what are these guys talking about?
Out of the
And
most dangerous wing, this is the best camera footage they could give us.
yeah, what? So he came from some cell over here. So these cells are not his cells. I guess because they say the one near his cell went out. All right, so the rest
Wouldn't
of
you
this.
want one at the guards table too, like right behind them? Like right
Yeah,
across?
that shows the stairwell from the prison cells to the guard room. Yeah, man. All right, so that was the first one. Then guard activity, Garcine. All right, so that's what we just saw. Epstein walking wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs, seen being escorted by a guard through a common area down a small flight of stairs to his cell at 749. So his escorted to his cell. So apparently his cell is down here. Then guard activity, Garcine walking toward the area near Epstein's cell at approximately 10:39 p.m. So I think we saw that one. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one we saw already. So 10:49. Yeah, this is crazy. All right, so guard seen walking toward the area near. Oh, 10 minutes too much. Come on. All right, there we go. So guard is seen walking toward the area near Epstein's cell at approximately 10:39 p.m. and again at 10:41. After this, no one is captured approaching or leaving the area. near his cell until around 6:30 a.m. So when they say a guard is seen walking toward his cell, I guess they mean people walking down here, not even the shit that we saw up here.
Right.
Right? All right. So,
Well, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know why the trash can's keeping my focus right now. But you know how that prisoner moved that trash can and the guard looked at the trash can, staring at the trash can.
Yeah.
It's like, why not like put a weapon in there? And they do like a transfer, some type of like thing to um, cut off the circulation. I don't know.
So you're saying they could have stashed stuff in there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
For Epstein, like to kill Epstein with?
Yeah, it could. Like a prisoner gets something from someone outside, and then the security guard grabs it that's linked to it. I mean, I bet security guards get paid off on certain things all the time by
Oh
prisoners.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. All right, so let me see the rest of this thing. So, yep, no one is seen approaching or leaving the area near his cell until 6:30 a.m. on August 10th, when guards are seen distributing breakfast, unaware Epstein has died. Camera limitations. The footage does not show Epstein's cell door or the interior of his cell, as the Metropolitan Correctional Center did not have cameras inside cells or next to his cell. The camera angle covers the hallway and common area, which would have captured anyone entering or exiting the tier where Epstein's cell was located. Timestamp issue. Some skepticism has arisen due to a 1-minute jump in the timestamp at midnight on August 10th. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let's go to midnight. Is it exactly at midnight? Hopefully, and otherwise, we'll be like finding a freaking needle in a haystack. I mean, everything about this is sketchy.
That did move. Go back. Yeah.
The whole frame?
Yeah. It like zoomed out or zoomed in or something.
All right, so we're at 11:57 now. Let's see.
Security guard movement over there.
And this thing is trying to say that no one is seen approaching or leaving the area near his cell between 10:41 and 6:30. But I mean, for all we know, this is the area near his cell because we saw him get marched over in this general area, and I have no idea where his cell is. FBI enhancements. The FBI released both raw and enhanced versions of the footage, with later having increased contrast, balanced doors, and improved sharpness for better clarity. The DOJ and FBI assert that the footage supports the conclusion that Epstein died by... Oh, there it was.
There it was. Yep. 11:59 or 11:58 and 58 seconds is when it jumped.
Oh, wow.
But
So
the caption is still in the same spot and it's still in the same frame.
Let's see. Was the guard in the frame when that happened?
Yeah, he was sitting at the guard table there doing their walking back and forth with files. It looks like they're just transferring files from doing the actual processing of them to putting them away.
All right, let's put this in slow motion.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, right at 11:58 and 58 seconds, it jumps.
11:50? I thought it was after 12.
No. It's 11:58 and 58 seconds on the nose. It jumps.
Let's see. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
And then people are moving, and then it gets skipped.
Yeah, it does.
There's no movement in that region where the garbage can is. It's just at the guard's desk where there's movement.
Yeah.
But that 1 minute of jump could give lots of time for them to come up, do their thing, what they need to do, and then go back down in place.
Right.
And be like, okay, Jeff, do your thing.
All right, here
And
we
you
go.
got it in slow-mo, right?
Yeah, I just put on 0.25. What's this right here? Is anything here?
Yep, something moved.
Here we go. Where is it?
Boom.
There we go.
What happened over there?
Cut it out like whole minute.
Yeah, what I'm thinking it might be is they might have it on an auto reset where every 24 hours and the last minute of the day it resets to start a new recording and just erases the previous recording, or he puts it on the cloud and gives them a new starting file.
Gotcha.
But why would it adjust the framing, like the frame, zoom in, zoom out situation?
That's where I'm saying that 1 minute of gap could be where they cut the camera off, came in and did their thing, told Jeff to do his thing, and then went back and made sure for continuity they tried to put it as good as they could. And stupidly, they made more moves than they should have.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I guess let's just go around the horn and say like what we think about the validity of this, and then the validity of what they've said, and like our level of trust increase or decrease for the administration. I mean, this has been my probably biggest pain point with them since they started. Like he's acted sketchy about it even ever since even the campaign. So I don't like this. Definitely kills a lot of trust, and and don't give a shit what the ramifications are if you release this. You're in a position to do it. Like a lot of these people that are probably on the list are the same people that try to take you down. So I don't know what the hell's compelling him to keep this a secret, because it's not Pam Bondi, it's not Cash, it's Trump. Like it's not like, or maybe unless low-level people in the Justice Department destroyed the evidence before they even got a chance to get their hands on it, or like in the SD NY. So you think it's a matter of them trying to save face that the evidence has been destroyed, or that they just don't want this to come out because it would be too disruptive to America? Because Trump said the same thing with the JFK stuff at first. Or do you think like he sees more value in withholding it than releasing it, or is he part of it? What does your gut tell you, Jordan?
I still think this is all part of a larger honeypot scheme to be able to expose larger players, but to do it in a tactful way that it doesn't basically cause the world economy in different countries to drop off the map like would happen if you just exposed everything all at once.
Okay. Brooks, what do you got?
I agree with Jordan. I just really feel like, man, it's like bullshit. Yeah, I feel like I definitely voted for him, not just on the Epstein thing. It was definitely top three, but immigration and then overall security of the nation, and then the Epstein list. It's like we all wanted to know. And if you look back, how many times has he actually talked about the Epstein list other than in the campaign speeches? It's always been Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, um, um, Dan, and it's he's not saying anything about it. It's kind of clearly just a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, and he always gets uncomfortable when you bring it up. He doesn't get uncomfortable a lot, but whenever people bring that one up, he gets weird. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I mean, like I said before, I think if Trump was implicated on this, I think the other side, the left wing, the Democrats would run with it and be like, we finally got him with something. So I don't know that he's so implicated. It's obviously very interesting that, Pam Bondi's going to say one thing and, we're putting the videos together. We have this, we have that. And then the next time they're in front speaking, it's the complete opposite. No, we don't have anything. No, he killed himself. But, he committed suicide. So it's very, I don't know that Trump knows all the information. I think he might be not given a lot of the information. And there's a couple different options, in my opinion, here of what's going on. So.
Yeah, my gut tells me that I don't think that argument holds up with that the Democrats would definitely be all over it if there's something there, because I think it would incriminate them and a lot of their friends just as much as it would incriminate potentially Trump or his friends. So I think it's maybe a mutually assured destruction thing where they won't even try to touch that because it would be just as destructive to them as it would be to him. And I don't get the weird vibes from him the way that I do, where it's like Bill Gates, it's like, oh yeah, I could see that, or Leon Black, oh yeah, I could see that. Les Wexner, I could see that, but I don't feel that with Trump. I could see him being ruthless and doing things like obtaining blackmail on people and using it to make deals happen or get like favorable situations or obtain favors from powerful people. But I don't know, like if that was the case, if it was just a matter of him being in it in that way, just redact that stuff. But he does seem like the type, he doesn't like big disruptive things. Like even with the, the Ayatollah of Iran, I was originally really shocked when he said that he doesn't want regime change. I do kind of get that because that's a giant headache. But it seems like he doesn't like the idea of like big disruptive things that like would make certain parts of the system crumble. But I don't like that though. I'd say burn that bitch down.
He felt disruptive in his first term, though. But maybe it's like he's scared to be that disruptive, or not scared, but limiting that. He felt like with his first term, he kind of threw me off on how disruptive he was to the system. And then I started to like be like, okay, like whatever he was saying in the campaign was like, okay, that's valid. I definitely don't like the too much immigration, and the Epstein list was definitely one of the top priorities. And I don't know. It's like he is disruptive. Like just be disruptive in a way.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's speaking of that, let's move on to Elon because their beef started with Elon saying that Trump won't release the Epstein list because he's on the Epstein list, and then Elon was really pissed about the reformed version of the big beautiful bill passing. And I think it's hilarious that Elon's kind of screaming about the debt ceiling and the cost of living and what else, like a lot of just like really easy talking points, how we need a third party and stuff, because all those things are true. I've advocated for a lot of those things. I say the cost of living and the debt is probably the biggest thing that we should all care about. So yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he cares about that. I think he's mad about other things, but I've also said that like we would probably do well to have a serious third party, and that we would do well to like for some aligned group of people to take seats in Congress, a couple per year over the next 10, 20 years and, carve out a nice 30% of the congressional seats in the Senate seats. So he's trying to do that. He's trying to obtain 3 Senate seats for his America Party and 10 Senate seats in 2026. So I don't know how much you guys know about the landmines that are in place and the hurdles that you have to go through if you want to be a third party. But it's a pretty nasty thing. It's like, you basically have to build a startup company in every single state and compete with like established companies that have been around for 100 years with the whole like infrastructure that's in place. And it's like, once the Democrats or once the Republicans select a candidate, it's like, all right, press go, hit the button, and the whole machine starts working for you and like everything's in place. But when you start a new party, it's like that whole machine is working against you to make it more difficult for you, whether it's like obtaining more signatures or laws that are in place to limit how much money you could raise. And even just getting on the ballot in a lot of these states is a whole hurdle to jump through. So it's like a matter of getting on the ballot and then making sure you get enough votes to win the thing. So you think Elon's just talking shit here? You think he's just pissed off, or you think he's really going to throw everything he has behind him to get a third party and try to carve out some Senate seats and some Congress seats? Jordan?
I think coming from a place where we have more than 2 parties in Canada here, it's a parliamentary democracy, it creates room for prevention of unilateral quid pro quo from side to side. It makes it so that you do have an accountability lever in place, as long as that third party that's there is making sure to keep themselves accountable. I see where he's coming from with the whole 2 or 3 seats in the Senate and 2 or 3 seats in the House and another 10 in the Senate there. That's a good strategic position to put himself in, because then on key topics, he can be the one to be the yay or nay. And he can also be the one to ask more questions in regards to specifics on topics within it. And then it's also a good way to prevent filibuster from either side from happening. Mm-hmm. So my only concern is when you start getting both sides aligned, like the Republicans and Democrats aligned, to turn around and be like, no, these guys don't exist. And then all they do is they go one election cycle from midterms from 2026 to 2028, and they don't have anything. They're not allowed to be involved or really have any sort of influence in any sort of bills or legislation that gets passed from that point on, because the 2 big parties have decided, you know what, screw Elon. we're going to do what we want to bring it back to the control level we had before.
Right. So do you think that, I mean, I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, you said that you think that this beef was a fake beef so that they could kind of stop getting the Democrats to try to divide them. You still think that it's a fake beef?
Yeah, I still think this is Elon positioning himself as a neutral party that's independent, but is able to stay scrutinized equally on both sides without being attacked heavily by both sides. Because he needs both sides in order to get what he wants for all of his individual business ventures. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's not doing what Pat's doing and creating an internal ecosystem. He's taking everything public and he's making it all so that it's based off of investors and how all the consumers in the market decides.
Mm-hmm. Dave, what do you think? You think Elon's actually serious about this?
Oh, 100%. I think he's bitter. I think he's unhappy with what happened between him and Trump. I do agree with a lot of the points that Jordan already made. I don't foresee him having any trouble, building in 50 states and whatever is necessary to, register as a third party. I think that'll be a piece of cake for him. But he definitely, there's no doubt about it that he wants control. He wants to be able to have a say in politics and what's going on in this country and therefore the world, right?
Yeah. I was almost thinking if I should jump on that and run for Congress somewhere here in 2026, because I was thinking 2028, but I don't know, I do hate both parties. And if he's going to just throw money at anybody who jumps on the America Party, I mean, I don't know, I might be down, but there are a ton of hurdles in place for that. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys trust the dude? Brooks, I'm going to come to you in a second, but just like real quick, David and Jordan, on scale 1 to 10, where's your trust level at for Elon?
3.5.
I'm at 4. Yeah.
All right. Brooks,
he really bossed me with this last, beef with Trump, obviously.
Yeah, the whole ketamine induced freak out and then an apology within 48 hours was kind of like, come on, man. Like, you're a 50-some-year-old man. We're here in our late 20s and in our 30s, and we have the sense to be able to know that you don't do that. You take some time, you analyze your thought process and the emotions coming, and then you give a calculated response so that you stay relevant and not in a negative way.
Yeah, you sound like a spoiled little brat. What do you got, Brooks?
Yeah, man, Elon has always been like, I've always thought like, okay, going to Mars, space traveling, all for it. Politics, I don't know. But I've always been happy about, or not happy about, but like interested in the third party. It always just gets like trampled by the other two main parties. And it's like, how centered is that third party going to be? Is it going to lean more left? Is it going to lean more right? Is it going to help or hurt the sides that we may like last time with Trump? RFK would have decimated Trump's votes, and then Kamala Harris would be in office. And I think that's even worse than what we have right now. And everyone can have their opinion on Trump, and they can hate Trump, love Trump to death. I'm more on the fence of just being like, I think he's a little bit safer of a candidate than Kamala, if not even way more. And the whole party of the Democrats are just psychos at this point. Like I used to vote Democrat kind of like Adam, but now I'm more of like, okay, it feels like a little bit of manipulation on both ends, Fox and CNN. And you just got to read between the lines. And I hope the third party is between the lines and actually listens to people and does the work, gives people jobs, gives people homes to live in that are affordable, and I don't know, just help the overall good of the United States.
There's another angle about this, guys, that we may not be catching, and it may be the straight business side of it. This might be the whole thing of, because of the way the Democrats have had control of things in like the small, like in basically the small level government style of things. That's basically what the left does, is they've moved away from the federal side of it, and they're like, we get into the state and we get into the municipalities, we get into the school boards, we get ourselves in there so that we can affect change in the communities. I think this might be Donald Trump and Elon working together to sell another version of a new Republican Party that's more aligned with the people, because he knows the Republican Party that he's with is still part of that big uniparty system. So he needs another selling point to be able to get his points across. And this is a perfect time to come forward because we're 3 quarters before the announcement of midterms. So this could be a way for him to turn around and throw support behind people in the Republican Party that are on his side, and then turn around and throw support behind the America Party with people who are on his side as well, but in a different party. So this is something that could end up being like, it's 2 to 3 spots for one and 10 for the other. This could end up being 8 or 9 spots and 15 if it's played right with the whole sell it from both sides.
I actually see what you're saying. And I mean, it sounds crazy now, but like if this was somehow the plan for them fake fighting, that would be freaking genius, because you're right. Elon, like, let's say he does get 10 congressional seats. It is probably going to be more likely that he gets people who lean right rather than lean left. And it's probably easier to flip seats, especially with how midterms normally go. They normally like flip back to the other side. So it is a way to ensure that they keep the majority technically, even if the people do have the label of the America Party, they're probably going to be right-leaning people. I mean, and like what a way to not necessarily even trick people like Mark Cuban, but like give them an out, because, Mark Cuban knows he made himself look like a retard. And I think he's been looking for an out to, find himself a home politically. Like he has too much pride to say like, okay, I'm a Republican now, but collectively, like everybody says that they want another option and they feel like politically homeless. So shit, I could see that. That's a good take.
The angle I'm going with is give your enemies a bridge to be able to give themselves a clean exit out to reset. And because Trump knows he's always been on the Democrat side and switched over to the Republicans, he even said in his interview with Oprah in the 90s, if I was ever going to run, I'd run as a Republican. Because that's where people would be seeing the switch happen, where they want to see how somebody who's a Democrat can make change within the Republican side.
And the super delegates aren't in the way. Like they got to get rid of that bullshit that you just have this random committee of unelected people that could decide ultimately who gets to be the primary winner, even if they don't get more votes. So.
Well, that's the other side of it. This America Party could end up causing a streamline of everything to show the disadvantage of the super delegates and of the internal party workings of the Republican side too. It could show a streamlined process where this is the people, and they're probably going to use technology to give people access to be fully involved right from their living room or from their kitchen table.
I wonder where the lobbyists are going to go to,
Bingo. That was going to be my next point, was we have to see how Peter Thiel and a lot of these other people who've been on the fence about things, because let's be real. Peter Thiel is a lefty who's playing the right. He's on the fence right now, and he's waiting to see how things go. So that's where I'm watching.
Yeah, he's a creepy dude. Go ahead.
What percentage are you guys at that you think the Trump-Musk thing is manufactured between them? What percent would you be at?
I'm at 70.
Ooh. I'm at 30, maybe 40.
I'm definitely living at 70, especially after the Epstein files, where he said he's on the Epstein list, and then he's like, "Oh, never mind." And he's still using Starlink or they're still using Starlink for military situations.
You said 70?
Yeah, I'm living with like 70-ish with Jordan.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a fucking brilliant move if they end up pulling that one on everybody. But so they have to fake this until 2026 midterms, and then they can just laugh at everybody on the night of the midterms if this is a trick the whole time.
But Brandon, look at what he did with the tariffs. He had everybody like humming and hawing and hooting and hollering about the tariffs and stuff. 95 days later, already in a net positive.
Yeah.
So all it takes is 1 quarter to be able to see it. And we've been paying attention to this since November 5th and January 20th. And because we've been paying attention to it since then, we can see things a little more clearly because we understand what moves they're making, because we're the ones that have been playing scenarios out left, right, and center and are giving different viewpoints. so that we can run these different ideas off one another. This is what's giving me the idea of the America Party is the sell the competition so that you can double your actual conversion rate. Just ask Pat about it. It's a great sales tactic. It's like you have your main company, but then you have a buddy who's got a similar company, but instead of having your buddy go and bid, you just do a secondary one with him involved, but you both do the job.
It's like what Standard Oil used to do against like its enemies, where people hated them, they didn't want to support them, so they would make a fake small company, and they would advertise being like, yeah, if you don't want to support the monopoly, come buy from us. But it turned out the whole time that was Standard Oil behind it. Shit.
Beautiful tactic. It's devious as hell and super easy to achieve when you're doing it in a naive setting, which we are definitely in a naive setting right now.
Wow. I mean, I respect that even though Rockefeller is a demon that messed up a lot of things, like his business acumen is, you got to commend it. I don't know if you ever read the Laws of Human Nature, but there's a chapter that's like all based on Rockefeller and the strategic warfare that he had with the oil competition in Cleveland. It was savage.
You want a better one? Pat's already suggested it. I read it. It's 38 letters from J.D. Rockefeller to his son.
Oh yeah, I read the shit out of that. It was a fucking awesome book.
So that takes everything about what you were mentioning before, and it just like it gives it that first person view. It's intense.
Yeah, a lot. You could learn a lot from that, dude. All right, so another mystery to debunk or to, I guess, figure out what the hell's going on with. Like, why are we sending more weapons to Ukraine? I don't think we ever technically even stopped sending weapons to Ukraine, but I don't know what this dude's doing, where he's coming out saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm frustrated with them. They won't stop fighting," but like we're still doing this. Trump says U.S. will send more weapons to Ukraine after halting some shipments. President Trump from CBS. President Trump said Monday his administration will send more defensive weapons to Ukraine amid its war with Russia, days after pausing some weapons shipments. Quote, "We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves," Mr. Trump told. I love how they all say Mr. Trump, by the way. Like New York Times does it, CBS does it, they won't call him president. Told reporters during a White House event with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday night. Yeah, Netanyahu paid us a visit today. The president said the shipments will consist of defensive weapons primarily, saying Ukraine is getting hit very hard and so many people are dying in that mess. The United States has provided Ukraine with tens of billions of dollars of weapons and other assistance since February 2022 when Russia launched full-scale invasion of the country, according to its council, blah, blah, blah. Last week, White House confirmed it had decided to halt shipments to Ukraine. A White House official said the pause was part of a broader review of weapons transfers to other countries. The U.S. official told CBS News the administration was concerned about military stockpiles falling too low. Yeah, that's a whole giant thing, the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about. Yes, Mr. Trump. Trump said his administration is still sending weapons to Ukraine, but former President Joe Biden, quote, emptied out our whole country giving them weapons, and we have to make sure that we have enough for ourselves. All right, so Jordan, what's your positive spin on this? Because I know you like to look at the glass half full. Jordan, I'll give Jordan a minute. You right?
Oh, I'm here, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your glass half full viewpoint on this? Do you think he's doing everything in his power to end this thing? Does he not want to end this thing for some reason? What's going on here?
I think he's starting to get frustrated with Putin. And I think the biggest thing that he's trying to do is it's more of a positioning thing to be able to cause for diplomatic maneuvering. I believe that's the position, that's the point he's taking, is if, hey, we said we were going to have mineral talks and we were going to have peace talks and we were going to have an economic agreement that's a win-win for everybody involved. And you're doing this, and then this guy's doing this, but this guy's doing this in response to you doing this. So what he's doing is he's basically saying, okay, if need be, I'm going to help position ourselves as the diplomat in the middle of the room, because if he doesn't want to de-escalate, we'll match the escalation, and every action will have a reaction. And until he's willing to come to the table, that's the position we're going to have to take, because they don't deserve to be getting hit like this.
Right. So you think, what the hell is Putin thinking then? Like, is Putin think he could take over Ukraine? I thought Putin wanted an off-ramp.
No, I think Putin might actually be getting just frustrated with Volodymyr. I think Zelensky's causing too much disruption. And Trump, I don't think Trump is aware enough of Zelensky. And I don't think the advisors that are helping Trump on this matter are giving enough information and enough reality of who Zelensky is and the whole issue that's been happening since 2014 with the whole installment of the new government at that point. So,
all right, so how do you think he sees this thing playing out, like with the timeline and everything? Because we keep getting these like different conflicting reports, like McGregor saying that Russia's absolutely crushing it. Then, the Council of Foreign Relations are saying that Russia is decimated by this. So I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle, where Russia's probably beating up Ukraine more than Ukraine's beating up Russia. But also the counterintuitive thing that happens with these situations is that even though a country is getting beaten up and it's throwing its youth into a meat grinder, it is also increasing the hell of its manufacturing capacity. So they're able to crank out weapons harder now than before. And they're kind of like on a war footing. So long term, they're probably going to be decimated because what's happened to their population. I'll show you a graph in a second. But
so think about the analogy of a fight. You can get a few of your teeth knocked out and get all bloodied up, but you can still keep fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are missing some teeth and they're still fighting. That's where it's at. It's until something gets broken. There needs to be something major infrastructure related in order for this to actually come to an end. And I think what's happening is because Russia's trying to position themselves to do an infrastructure hit, because the whole infrastructure hit that happened originally that escalated this under Biden back when it first happened with whatever it was in the sea there. I think that's where he's at, is like, I think we're just waiting and we're going to have a delayed response on your infrastructure. And Trump is seeing that's coming and he's positioning it. So he's trying to deter Putin from doing an infrastructure hit in Ukraine, which would debilitate the ability to have the mineral talks for the economy and bring peace in the region. Because then you would have to do a Halliburton rebuild like they did in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I think that's what Trump is doing. I think Trump is trying to avoid a Bush-Cheney destruction and a forced rebuild with NGOs.
He's trying to avoid that?
I think he's trying to avoid it. And
so
I think
more weapons to avoid that?
This is a strategic positioning to create security in the region so that Putin has no choice but to come to the table and actually have diplomatic talks with trade agreements and economic stability in the region to stop war.
So you think beefing up Ukraine's capacity is going to make it more likely that Putin comes to the table?
I think it's mainly a deterrent. I'm at about 85%. He's using it as a way to use it as a deterrent because he's been saying the whole time, since even before he got in, this all needs to stop. People need to stop dying. Well, the people are the teeth that are getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you stop the bleeding? You stop them from punching each other's teeth out.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, look at this shit. This is not good. You see that right there?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't survive that way long term. But Brooks, what do you think about this?
It's really gone under the radar. So,
well, yeah, the whole Israel thing and then the million other things going on. But I mean, it just pisses me the hell off that our stockpiles are potentially low. Like I remember seeing an article last year that said how we're like 3 years behind in terms of like our defense contractors making certain missiles that we need, and that we would have enough ammo for like 7 days of a conflict in the South China Sea. Like you're telling me that we spend almost $1 trillion a year, now officially $1 trillion a year. Like we should have 10 times more than everybody.
do you think they're just trying to get the expiration date out of some of these missiles and trying to get new cache from other countries like maybe India or other markets since we don't have China anymore? Also, maybe just a side question, maybe think about it. And then what I'm thinking is this is the next move in the chess match. When you put into, put your pawn somewhere, put out your knight, you're gonna see okay, what are they moving? What are they gonna do? And then this is how we're gonna react. We're gonna put our missiles over there in Ukraine again, pay for it again, and then let's see how Russia's gonna react. Where are they gonna move their troops? What are they gonna do? And then we're gonna be like, okay, this is the sign of force that we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same thing like we did in Iran. We're going to show our way of force or peace through strength, and we're going to actually maybe even attack them or push them back in a way, push the bully back. That's how I'm feeling in this situation.
So it's one thing to like assess it and see what you think is going on. Like, do you agree with that tactic?
I don't think that overall it's good for the world, but I think it's the best tactic you can do in warfare to obviously give weapons to Ukraine, your ally, and then just like we did with Iran threatening Israel or supposedly threatening Israel with nuclear weapons, which Putin did. So why not show peace through strength in a certain way? Maybe this is just the first pawn move in the chess match.
Dave, what do you think?
Well, I mean, if you go back to the article, part that you kind of missed out on was Trump, allegedly had a meeting with Putin, and it didn't go so well, right? I believe that was last week. So I think this whole move to make it so public, all of a sudden we're gonna send them weapons. It's just an effort to bring Putin to the table, right? To have him come make peace, and by showing, like, kind of tying into what Brooks said, by showing with force, obviously we're not doing the bombing in this situation, but hey, we're still very much going to back up Ukraine until you can come to the negotiating table, Mr. Putin. So, as we see right here, President Trump told reporters he was very disappointed.
Yeah.
So,
you know what?
Trump,
I didn't see that, but now I guess he does say crazy things like this when he's pissed off at people. Like he'll just like go out and make a big threat like that that would be uncomfortable for the person who pissed him off.
absolutely. So that's where I went. That was really my highlight of this article and what's going on. I'm a firm believer in Trump. He loves to talk, but he also backs it up, right? And I think that's just another clear situation of this. So.
Would you guys feel like it was a loss to give up a slice of Ukraine, like the eastern part mostly that Russia's occupying right now?
Not one bit.
Same. Do you think Putin would be content with that?
Probably not.
No. So just to put it into context, I've talked to a few different people that know the region pretty well. Even though it's been part of Ukraine forever, since Ukraine became its own country, the Donbas region is basically where the Soviet Union's military naval base is in the Black Sea.
Yeah.
And Crimea, being on the southern border of Donbas, is where the majority of the Russian naval officers and their family would live and work. So the reason they say it's basically part of Russia is because it's formerly part of that's where a lot of the people lived.
Crimea or the Donbass?
Yeah, Donetsk. Yeah, like right there, right in that port there. That port is where I believe is where the majority of the Russian naval base is. And then a lot of the economy that goes through the Black Sea into Asia and Eastern Europe is through Crimea.
Yeah, and that's their only deep water port access to the Black Sea. Like others, aside from that, Russia's pretty landlocked.
Exactly.
Which is hard to fathom that because it's so big. But you look at a map of Russia, it's not a lot of deep water ports. But I mean, give this shit to Russia. Who cares? Most of these people in this area speak Russian anyway, and they're like people in this area don't even really acknowledge the fact that Russia and Ukraine is a different place. Like they forget sometimes it's a different place. That's Ukraine's only been a country for I think
34 years.
34, yeah. And for the entire history of Russia before that, Ukraine was part of Russia for 99% of the time. So
I know people who've immigrated to Canada who were born in 92, 93, 94, and they're born in Ukraine and they have Russian issued passports because Ukraine didn't have their own internal systems until basically the late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow. Yeah, so it's not some crazy.
There's a lot of Ukrainians in upstate New York too. There's the Ukrainian Federal Credit Union, where it's like, why, but Uh, for some reason, I'm feeling like it's more. It's not Ukraine losing this war. It's really U.S. losing this war, and the U.S. does not like to take an L. You know, they don't like to. They don't like losses, and this is, in a way, more the United States losing than Ukraine. In a way, because this is their ally. This is more. They're closer to Russia. This is that or NATO. Um, so it's more of a pride thing, in my opinion.
Brandon, I don't know how you can say, "Oh, right, Ukraine, I'll just give it to them." It's their land
Give
at
it
this
to
point.
'em.
Like,
Give it
just
to
give it
them.
to them. Why don't we
Give it
just
to
give
'em.
Mexico, California, and New Mexico, and Arizona, and Texas? Like,
If they could take it, they could have it. But I don't think they could take it. Like, I mean,
yeah.
up until about
Well, I
100,
don't know about California, but
no, I mean, up until about 100, 150 years ago, like it was very common practice for like a stronger group of people to go up to a weaker group of people and just take their land. And that's called conquest. And, until everybody had nukes, that was just, like happened every single day. So, and that's why we have Canada and Texas and all the nice areas that we have in America. Even Florida, our boy Andrew Jackson, he took Florida from the Indians, and it wasn't pretty, but I mean, we're glad that we have Florida. We wouldn't be the powerhouse that we are without Florida and California and Texas. So, I mean, it's not a pretty thing. It's like there's a lot of tragedy that goes into it, but I mean, and it's not cool that Russia did this, but it's also not cool that we were just like moving nuclear weapons closer and closer and closer to the border. Like that was stupid. I don't know if you guys know this, but when the Cold War ended and there was nothing to spend money on militarily anymore, the defense contractors went into a panic, and the freaking president of Lockheed Martin led the committee to expand NATO, knowing that it would antagonize Russia and provoke them, because Russia wanted to join freaking NATO. Putin called Clinton asking him, "Hey, can I join NATO?" And Clinton's like, let me get back to you on that. And then instead we just started building up the hell out of NATO, moving it closer and closer and closer to Russia's border. And the way that Ukraine's government even formed is wild too, because it's like when the Soviet Union collapsed, we pretty much had American NGOs and freaking lobbyists and consultants like go into Ukraine and like prop up a puppet government and convince them to have an election where our people on the ground like controlled and like announced the results of the election. So they didn't have a government when Ukraine established its own government. So, I'm sure they weren't happy about that. Then they had a bitch president at first. We were running Russia through the oligarchs. And then Putin comes along and he's like, hey, America's using these oligarchs to exploit us. So I'm going to cut that shit out. And that's why American politicians despise Putin, because we lost access to a lot of Russia's market when Putin came along, because the oligarchs were pretty much like the equivalent of when we prop up a royal family in Saudi Arabia and we kind of run the country through them. That's what the oligarchs were like in Russia. They were controllable. We're like, hey, you can get rich as fuck and we'll get what we want from you. But then Putin put an end to that shit, and then everybody hated Putin after that. Not saying whether like I'm for or against any of that. Like I get it. It's geopolitics. It's like high level economic warfare, whatever. But that's just a matter of the fact. So I don't like going along with all this Putin's next Hitler bullshit. Like, no, guys, you fucking antagonized them. So like I'm gonna say it how it is.
I agree 100%. Just to add to your point, I believe allegedly what Putin said in that interview was that Bill Clinton agreed, sure, you can join NATO. They went to lunch. He came back from lunch, Bill Clinton. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that right now, maybe in the future. So what changed? We will never know, probably.
Well, what's the point of NATO if Russia's part of NATO? Like the whole point of NATO is to protect Europe from Russia.
Right.
And like I think the scariest thing in the world for a lot of people is world peace, or to not have a big scary enemy. And that's where we were at for a second after the Cold War ended. Is like we didn't have a big scary immediate enemy that we had to throw money at.
But today we do have a big scary enemy, though.
Who? China?
Exactly.
Yeah, but what's funny about that is that like everything they have came from us, like including their technology. That like you see the charts of how China's caught up to us in AI over the last 2 years. It's not because of their own innovations, because we give them our tech secrets so that the tech guys in our country can ask Congress for more money and for big data centers that the government pays for, because like, yeah, look how close China's getting to us. We need to ramp it up. It's a national security threat, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to find that chart. Like
that's why they're a lot scarier than Russia is. And they have a hell of a population too. A lot bigger than Russia. But
so is it fair to call somebody scary? So like, I mean, let's say you walk around like with a fucking machine gun all the time, and like, you know, you're the only dude in your neighborhood with a machine gun.
Yeah, everybody else got muskets.
no, they have nothing. And then, you know, you start like giving knives to just this one guy, and then like every couple months you give him a stronger weapon, and until eventually you give him the same weapon as you, and then whoever you ask money for, you say like, hey, like this guy has the same stuff we have now. I need more money to get better stuff so that I could protect us. Like that's essentially what our defense contractors do. That's what our tech guys do. That's what the bankers do. Like it's like they just scare the shit out of Congress to shake them down so that they could get better stuff. Like that's what a big part of Operation Star or Project Stargate was. It's a double name. Like there was the Stargate where they used the psychics, and then there's the Stargate where they are doing the deal with Trump and Larry Ellison and Sam Altman. But yeah, here I'm pulling up this chart from, what the hell is it? Here we go. So look at this. This doesn't even make sense. This is like, and you know, NVIDIA chips weren't supposed to make their way to China. Like the chips that like have the high processing power that are really small. I forget the exact nanometers, but I mean, look at this shit. In one freaking year, they caught up to us like this. And it's because the NVIDIA chips have been making their way over there, but that was banned. So somebody has been smuggling the NVIDIA chips over to China. And the same thing was freaking happening in the 80s, I think, with Russia, somewhere between the 60s and the 80s. We were like, Russia had no capacity at all to make semiconductors. So they couldn't make semiconductors for tanks or for planes or for any of the important shit that they needed. We fucking gave them not just semiconductor chips. We gave them like actual factory parts to produce semiconductors at high volume so they could keep up with us and keep the threat alive. So it's a practice as old as time to feed a superpower, like, or a rising superpower that could be a competitor to us, technology that keeps them nice and scary so we can keep shaking down Congress for military money. So, I mean, like, that's the shit that pisses me off that people overlook, is that it's like they see that China's a rising threat, but they don't ask, all right, like, so why is it that they're a rising threat? Why were they a damn near third world country 25 years ago? Now they're like, we say that they're like on the same footing as us, which I don't think that they are, but whatever they are, we are like at least 70% responsible for it.
And we're doing the same thing for Japan and South Korea, technically. You know, we're trying to prop them up in a way.
You think so?
In certain aspects, I mean, we definitely have spent a lot of military funding to go there and to protect them and to probably give them secrets and technology. And now they're kind of separating from us in a sense.
Yeah, it's like they're biting the hand that fed them. But let's see how rebellious they are when we pull our Navy out of the fucking South China Sea and they have North Korea and China breathing down their necks.
Or they're already talking to them, you know? They're probably, even though like most Asian countries don't like each other, they might have more disdain towards America than we may know.
Can I give an angle here that we might be missing, though?
Hell yeah.
India and the agreements economically there, and then the way that we're taking the American military's capacity and utilizing it in training the people of India thoroughly when it comes to their military, their police force, everything, because Modi wants to clean up their entire economy. And in order to do that, you have to do that in each of the regions. And you usually do that with your police force and your community outreach. So if you get American-style policing and military that understands the peacekeeping operations, and you apply that to India and the peacing, that's 1.4 billion people that you can start having as a westernized ally in your economy. Well, that turns around and offsets the Asian countries with China.
I gotcha. So How do you think that connects to us giving tech to China?
Big time. I think that's part of that whole 5% of Larry moving Apple over to, or whatever it is, moving Apple over to India. Getting that 5% or more production moved over is one of the big first steps. Because then what is the first thing they can do? They can apply that tech locally because it's built locally.
Okay.
And then that means that they can have the American people who understand the base of the tech at a low rate of cost, being able to implement it at a more rapid pace. And then from there, it's just plug and play as you create your systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, China definitely does not want us to be closer to another country they don't like, and especially we can get special forces on the ground instead of from the sea into mainland China.
Yeah, like never mind having taking Bagram back. Imagine if the US had 3 or 4 strategic bases in India. That alone would just be okay. Asia would be like on guard at all times at that point.
But we have bases in Asia, right? We have in Japan and Korea.
I get that, but I'm just saying if those countries decided to misalign or disalign with the United States and the Western world, India would be the one to turn around and bolster us on that side. And it wouldn't be very hard with the economic trade talks that have already been taking place and the westernization of India over the last 10 years anyway, for them to turn around and be like, yeah, build 4 military bases. Here are the best locations for you to do it in. We'll supply you the workers. You just bring the stuff needed to do it.
And it's harder to infiltrate China from across the sea compared to ground forces or special forces walking across or hiking.
And then there's another aspect to this chess match that India plays because of the way Pakistan is sitting and their alignment with Iran and everything there. So this is a double-edged sword that could play as a defense mechanism to deter any Asian escalation from China, as well as more escalation from Iran.
Interesting. And shit, I don't think we'll talk about this today, but the BRICS countries are making some moves trying to do their central, reserve currency bullshit again. But all right, that's an interesting take, and let's dig into that in the future someday, like next week or something. But last thing I want to talk about, I didn't even look into this one much yet. I just heard somebody mention it to me, and Dave, I hope you know what's up with this. What the hell happened with Yemen last night? Why did Israel freaking bomb Yemen? Is it because of the Houthis or something? But I mean, shit, like this is why I don't trust this freaking guy Netanyahu. And I maintain that, and I know you disagree with this, but I totally strongly believe that the vast majority of Israel's foreign policy has been Netanyahu trying to stay out of jail and keep people distracted about his court case. Because, like, why is right now the time to bomb Yemen when you're trying to thread the needle with peace talks with Hamas and Iran? You just go and bomb Yemen when Trump just got pissed at you for bombing, or you just bomb Yemen after Trump just got pissed at you for bombing Iran after the ceasefire. So, I mean, I'm going to pull up a headline on this, but do you have an initial reaction to this, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple things first. As far as ceasefires work in the Middle East, people are fighting until like the last minute, right? If the peace is at midnight, they're fighting till 11:59 with 59 seconds. So that's how things typically work there. As far as Yemen's obviously, the Houthis have been launching rockets into Israel for,
forever.
For a year or something like that. They're obviously keeping a lot of shipping out of the Suez Canal that has to pass by Yemen. And they've been, I can't say a real player by any means, but just like a thorn in the side, like the fly that's on you and you just kind of brush it off you. So Israel had to send a message and, attack. They chose to do it today. That's fine.
But I mean, like, under an imminent threat from the Houthis?
I mean, we didn't go and kill, Israel didn't go and kill all their leadership. I think they just sent them a decently light message, like Israel did with Hezbollah. Their top leadership is all killed. A lot of Iran's top leadership is killed. Hamas's top leadership is killed. So this is just a warning shot to them, I would say. I'm sure they could take out their leaders if they wanted to with the snap of the fingers. Like these are
Yeah.
not a overly sophisticated group of people by any means. Like a very I'm losing my words here, but not a sophisticated group by any means at all.
No, it's like the most dangerous country in the world, I think I heard somebody say.
It is.
I mean,
It's kind of like, so have you guys seen the video of Shane Gillis explaining the American military against the Iraqis back in the day and how it's just like all on the internet?
no.
How he identifies more with the Iraqis and like the monkey paw guys, as he explains, is like, yeah, like it's not common to get a kill and things like that. They don't know all this stuff. The American military and stuff like that, they're sophisticated. The Israeli military, they're sophisticated. They know this stuff. They've been trained to do this stuff. The Yemenis, they don't care. The Houthis, they're barbarians. Yeah, they cheer when they get one thing done, and that's they don't understand context. It's barbaric. They're barbaric.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it seems like they were upset because of them transferring weapons to the Iranian regime, probably over the years and probably still. So that's the timeline. And so the Houthis were doing this. Israel fires at their power plants, and then the Houthis go back at other ships that are our allies. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I mean, another thing they weren't really talking about in the news, they were targeting shipping ships that were owned by Jewish people, let alone if they were owned or part owned by anybody who was Israeli, but targeted Jewish shipping ships, and things of that nature, to not allow them to cross since October 7th.
Yeah, I was just reading that. It's actually been the Houthis have been attacking Israeli cargo ships along that whole canal there since November of 2023 is when they really started doing a lot of their gun and rocket propelled grenade attacks and things like that.
Exactly. And I mean, again, they're just another group, a proxy of Iran, as we know. And I actually love what Pat said last week at Bibi and that's exactly where I'm at with Bibi myself. Just get on with it. Like, do what you have to do to protect your people, because that's what it's all about. Like, your only job as a prime minister is to protect your people, keep money in their pockets. That's it.
Do you think Greece is going to get involved?
No.
Since it was a Greek ship, you think they're going to not answer at all?
Nah, Greece is a disaster. They don't have any means to fight with.
Greece can't even afford toilet paper.
They need to start by going to work to begin with. So
Yemen's a poor ass country too. Like they're not one of the ones that are blessed with oil, huh?
No, the word I was thinking of is primitive, extremely primitive. I got to find this video for you guys, and I'll send it in the group.
Yeah, Yemen's a barbaric country.
But so, Dave, you're still not even a little bit in that camp of Netanyahu's started some skirmishes to keep people distracted from his legal troubles?
I mean, I actually had an idea or thought when the whole thing started, which I don't know if we have time for that.
Yeah,
even unpack that at the moment, or that's for a different time. But I thought even in the beginning, an option or an idea I had was, okay, maybe he let Hamas do what they did intentionally. Now he has the ability to go after them, and he can go after Iran and Hezbollah. He can go after everybody because he has a clear reason to do it, right? Nobody can tell him nothing. The only wild card is here that Trump wasn't in office at the time. Once Trump came into office, Netanyahu has a free hand to do what he wants at this point. Trump's fully backing him, and he played everybody, going back to him visiting Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Oh, especially in Israeli media, they talked a lot about, Trump turned his back on Netanyahu. Look, he's not even coming to visit. Oh, he goes to Qatar and Saudi Arabia, can't even stop by. Oh, they have bad blood. Oh, there's a problem. And the whole thing was BS, complete complete BS, and he always had his back from day one. So I thought, hey, maybe Netanyahu foresaw Trump winning presidency, and now I have an ability to go after the head of the snake, as they've said for years. But without Trump's backing, I don't see any other way he could have went after Iran. Zero. So my theory of maybe he let it happen kind of goes out the window.
I agree with that he definitely wouldn't have been as bold with Iran if Trump hadn't won. But I mean, even going back to the October 7th thing, like I'm still highly sketched about that situation where he was like facing the biggest protests of all time in Israel. People were furious at him. He was trying to change the way the Supreme Court worked because of how his court case was going. And then, this improbable attack happens where these people who live in freaking caves that were driving dirt bikes and sailing in on paragliders and like break into the most fortified, protected land in the world and are able to just like hang out there for almost an hour and grab people and leave with them. I mean, it seems like a really, really weird, unlikely thing to happen. So I was always sketched out about that one. And then the fact that Netanyahu was having Qatar send money to Hamas so that they didn't legitimize the Palestinian Authority. I mean, it seems like he wanted to have a terrorist group in power to justify like not acknowledging them as a legit political party, which whatever, fine. I get that. I get that you want the territory. No, I really don't care. But to, let October 7th happen and then like kind of suck the rest of the world into the situation. If that turns out to be the case, then I'm not a big fan of that. And then if you're stretching the truth a little bit about the danger of the nuclear development in Iran, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I want the Iran regime to fall. I want Iran to be a stable place because they, they have a lot of potential and they destabilize a lot of things. But if he jumped the gun, then we could be getting pulled into something with that too. And then now you're starting shit with Yemen right when things are simmering down with Iran. I don't know. I like that's the vibe I'm getting with him. Maybe I'm wrong, but out of all those things, I feel the most confident saying that October 7th. I think that he let something happen because of the way that things time out.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this talk and debate a little bit.
I know, full circle.
Quite a few times. I mean, I'm a full believer. I don't think he would have let it happen under his watch. I think he's too proud of a person and too proud of a Jew to just allow Jews to be killed like that. I believe that it was a complete security fail. A lot of people say that, oh, the border's so secure, the border's so secure. I'm going to tell you, Israeli security is, as much as everyone would like to think and feel that it's very sophisticated, I don't think it has anything even, I would say, even better than a casino here in Las Vegas, right? Like, I think the security of Israel is not what people think it is. And they've had, Mossad has had different kinds of operations along the years that were ultra sophisticated, like, for example, the pagers and, killing Hania in Tehran.
Mm-hmm.
They have moments of brilliance, but the everyday life is not. There's still a lot of third world that goes on there, and it's actually laughable. So,
do you think Netanyahu's life got better or worse after October 7th?
No, worse, because now both sides don't like him. Both sides don't like him. The people that hated him hate him even more. The people, my own family, my own self, that we were definitely, we liked him. Now they hate him. Like, how?
Because of what mostly?
First of all, how does this happen? I have a chart that I could also send in the group. For years, since 2005, since Israel disengaged completely from Gaza, every year there's been over 50 rockets that come out of Gaza into Israel for 50 years. Why would you even let one rocket, as a leader, why would you let one come into the country? After one, you should already be handling the situation and not letting the issue grow.
Letting Qatar give them money? Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
That's a really uncomfortable thing.
Right. Now, we've also had a conversation of, it's Palestinian Authority, which is a lot less radical. They're way more secular than Hamas, than PIJ, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is essentially ISIS. It's also in Gaza as well as the West Bank. Out of this whole group, West Bank and Gaza, there's never been anybody who comes to fruition of like, hey, let's have peace. So the problem I have is it's always Israel's fault. Oh, Israel, Bibi had Qatar pay money to Hamas. Oh, Bibi created Hamas. I've heard all the stories and theories. Where is the people in Gaza who actually want peace? There isn't, and there's none in the West Bank either.
You're saying zero?
Not zero, but less than 3%. Less than 3% of the population. And it's unfortunate because Israelis want to live in peace. They don't want to deal with this problem anymore. A lot of the country's expense goes towards security, goes to defense. People want to have money in different aspects of life, sports, bringing tourism. I mean, tourism has been killed since October 7th. So,
yeah.
And people are sick and tired. They don't want to fight. Nobody wants to fight there. The people who are in the army are 18 to 21. Reserves got to be called in. They're 30, 40 years old. They don't want to deal with this anymore.
Jordan or Brooks, what do you guys think about all this?
Go ahead, Brooks.
I've been brewing a couple questions and thoughts. Good analysis, David, and you're definitely like linked in there. So I've been thinking so Israel has about 100,000 people in the military, maybe a little bit, give or take. And then the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, they maybe before the war they probably had about 300,000. And then Hamas invades and they go on the soil of Israel, and then no other time during this war anyone has gone onto Israel's soil and invaded Israel ever again, which is a mystery in itself. Where it's like, if you're fighting a war, why aren't you trying to get back into Israel and fighting them in Israel? I'm not saying that like Israel's the fault. Is it the other forces being like, punch them, make us look like the good guys, and make the world sympathize on us? That could be definitely another scenario. But I mean, they're surrounded. Why not take them out? Why not go in there? Would they run out of money for hang gliders and more machine guns and more stuff like that? Like I just don't see how it became a rocket fire instead of an invasion again against Israel, where now Israel's showing force, but it just doesn't seem like the other side is really fighting back at the capacity that they started with, and it's kind of confusing of why wouldn't they?
Well, what did they start with? They started with paragliders and motorcycles and vehicles, right?
Why not do the same thing?
I think they're
They can get in
blockaded
there
right now.
so easily.
Well, all right.
Everywhere in all of Israel.
I'll use a fighting example, right? In boxing, right? If I'm coming towards you, Brooks, right? You're not really going to have time to come towards me, right? If I'm always the one coming forward. So in this situation, since October 7th, Israel's been the one to come forward and push the fight into their territory, not keep it out of Israel's territory.
So Israel's Mike Tyson, and Hamas is just, and the Houthis and Hezbollah are just backing down when they have more soldiers.
Well, the Houthis are quite far away. Like they don't even have an ability to make it to, I don't know, even Saudi Arabia, I would assume. But
They're basically pirates.
Exactly. So a little more than that. And then as far as Hezbollah, the agreement that Israel actually had with Hezbollah up till recently was Hezbollah was supposed to stay out of, and I'm forgetting the name of if it's a river or a certain region, that they're supposed to stay out of that region for peace purposes, or ceasefire purposes rather. And Hezbollah's already been in there. Allegedly, Hezbollah was also digging tunnels into Israel. So
I think that they just weren't receiving the same resources they were receiving beforehand because, like I said, they were receiving $30 million a month from Qatar, like that's amongst other things. But now, like the country itself, the territory of Gaza isn't even receiving food because of like all the blockades and everything. So
that's not true. That's not true, Brandon.
Not even a little bit?
No, they're definitely receiving food and have been receiving food. And Hamas has been stealing a lot of I would say majority of the aid that does go into there. They steal it.
Didn't we cut off like their water and electricity for a while, or is that not true too?
A very short time, but on top of that, and it's fun, and nobody mentions this, West Bank and Gaza get some of their electricity from Israel. They're supposed to pay. They don't pay. And haven't paid. They don't pay the bill. So we're supposed to just keep their stuff going.
Yeah, it's like the WNBA.
Exactly. So we subsidize and we pay for everything. And meanwhile, you can't. In the 20 years you had the land, you couldn't come up with power or water to satisfy your people and run your region the way you wanted to run it. And you rely on us. Give me a break,
No, I definitely agree that Palestine's government is definitely shit. I'm just thinking of like the forces of like, if you're pirates and you're smugglers, like, why wouldn't you try smuggling in to invade Israel again or wreak havoc like you did before? Like it feels like Israel's so shut down, but it's like, is it really? Like, I'm surprised they are just doing like rocket fire from afar instead of more boots on the ground if it really matters to them.
Yeah, what do you think, Dave? You think it's because of like a resources thing or a strategy thing and more guerrilla warfare?
Well, I mean, we're talking as far as the Houthis.
The Hamas, right, Brooks? You're saying why isn't Hamas
I guess
crossing?
all three, like Hamas, I feel like they've definitely been pushed back, but why hasn't the Houthis and Hezbollah invaded as well? And they're more like from afar, doing small little agitative. It could be strategy, but it's more agitative, if anything, instead of aggressive.
Like no leadership after that beeper thing. Like they were cut down pretty badly.
I was just about to say they haven't had leadership in a while, and they've basically been running on barbarianism for the last almost decade now. So they really, without any alignment, and Qatar and Saudi Arabia not giving them, they may give them money, but they don't give them direction. And without direction, that money is useless. They just, we'll buy firearms and then we'll be pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Houthis don't have the wherewithal. The Houthis don't have the wherewithal to even, maybe make it out of the Bay of Yemen to cross Saudi Arabia. So much less they're not going to make it to Israel. I mean, Jordan, obviously.
Yeah, they kind of stay just posted up in the Horn of Africa area and just like shoot shit at ships that go by.
Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, I think that part of it has been trying to keep them from having a legitimate government, and we could have that debate another day. Like Dave, I'm not against the whole strategy of like clearing out the bullshit, getting like the dangerous people away from you, neutralizing all that, whatever. Like I never had a problem with that and never will, but it's just like a matter of when everybody's saying something is definitely one thing and it's not necessarily abundantly clear that's a different thing, but it's like, there's like some smoke in the sense of it being a different thing. Like what I said with Russia and Ukraine, like there's like a little bit different details to the story that we're being told. So, it's nothing against Israel. It's more of a Netanyahu thing. I think he's a shady dude, and I think that he has his own motives. And if you gave him the choice between keeping a prolonged war for the next 5 or 10 years versus like having peace tomorrow, I think he'd rather have war for the next 5 to 10 years so that he could have as many distractions as possible.
I mean, maybe, but at the same time, could any other potential prime minister have done what Netanyahu's been able to do since October 7th? Took out Hezbollah, took out a lot of Hamas, got messed up Iran pretty good, right? I'd say.
Yeah, and they probably had a role in Syria too.
Yes. And that one's kind of a wild card. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
The whole ISIS leadership thing.
Yeah, time will tell about this guy. And I mean, he changes his name like, we drink water. So
yeah.
But could any other leader of Israel have done what Netanyahu did in this time? I don't think so. I don't think anyone else would have had the balls to do it, and to go after Iran. So.
Yeah, no, they've definitely done the art of war style attacks where it's like, lie silent in the night and then strike like a thunderbolt when they least expect it, like fast and strong. But yeah, I get it. I get that perspective, and like we've been talking about having a debate about this for a while, so we'll definitely dedicate an hour or so to doing that in the next week or two because we're due for that. But guys, thanks for jumping on tonight. We went a little bit longer than expected, but we always have awesome conversation, whether it's in our private group or on our Zoom calls that we do every week. So thanks for jumping on, guys. And if any of you who are watching want to join the VT Research Group, you could check out the link below or the QR code. Any last words, guys?
Check us out on Manek.
That's right. Guys, it's always a pleasure. Much love. Thank you so much for jumping on. It's always great talking to you. And we'll talk tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Good chat, fellas.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.